What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Smiths. And we're returning for another non-album tune from the era of their 1985 album Meat is Murder. Thank you again to Daisylusion. And the next track is Shakespeare's Sister. I don't know the familial structure of Billy Shakes, but I am familiar with some of his works. I do think his reputation as perhaps the finest writer in English fiction, or just the English language more generally, is well deserved. And the authorship controversy, I think, is overblown, and as one Oxford scholar put it, people who doubt the authenticity of the authorship of his plays are, in a word, snobs. In any case, that's all surely secondary or ancillary to the issue at hand, meaning I don't know whether he really had a sister, and if he did, I don't know the significance she might have played in his life, or even her name. So yes, I don't know if this is something that is actually historical and biographical. I wouldn't put it past Morrissey. But at the same time, I wonder whether it could be an exercise in talking about someone who is adjacent to someone famous, the idea of someone having a brother or a sister who did not amount to the publicly celebrated status of another member of their family is something that I think you could find interesting parallels to songs and songwriting from Morrissey I'm already familiar with. The idea of being close to something special or magical and yet not quite being a part of it, or being able to witness it but not share in the same level of feeling and success. So I feel like even if it's fictional, it would fit very well into Morrissey's typical themes, and if it's something realistic, perhaps it builds upon an actual historical fact. In any case, let's give it a listen. This is, by the Smiths, Shakespeare's Sister, a non-album single or B-side from the era of Meat is Murder, and the train outside is apparently very excited to hear this.
Young walls grown and the rocks below say, throw your skinny body down, son, but I'm going to meet the one I love. So please don't stand in my way, because I'm going to meet the one I love. No, mama, let me go. Young walls grown and the rocks below say, throw your white body down, but I'm going to meet the one I love. At last, at last, at last, I'm going to meet the one I love. La-di-da, la-di-da, no, let me you are a protest singer. Oh, I can smile about it now, but the time was terrible. No, let me go. No, no, no,
Well, that was short and fun, and thematically, I'm not sure what's going on. There were a couple lines, like something about what was it, like lovers who aren't finding the connection or something to that effect, throw your bodies to the ground, like rocks or something. So I'm immediately thinking of some of his stories where there are star-crossed lovers and lovers who are ill-fated and who don't end up living happily ever after, and who perhaps take themselves down, tear themselves asunder, including literally killing themselves in some of his plays. So I was thinking maybe we're talking about Shakespeare's subject matter more than Shakespeare himself. And then there were a couple lines that felt more modern sounding, and then we get to the line that I think was something like, I heard that if you have an acoustic guitar, you mean what you say or something like that, which sounds like the witty and sharp, like subtly critical lines that feature in a lot of his tunes, where like, oh well, if you're a guitar poet and you play an acoustic guitar and sing meaningfully about some biological narrative, then you must, like a Dylan or a Joni Mitchell perhaps, like then of course people take you seriously and think you're an artist. But if you make indie rock like we do, maybe people think that, oh well, they're just singing about being sad and mopey and there's no real depth to it. So it feels like there's a bit of meta, he's commenting on the nature of the music industry or the way that the Smiths are being perceived or his songwriting is perceived relative to other people who are perhaps, again, guitar poets with an acoustic guitar. So I don't know where any of that fits in together. I'm not quite sure what's happening. It certainly doesn't seem to be about Shakespeare in any biological, or I should say historical and familial context. So perhaps it's just a clever, witty title that relates to some of the themes being expressed, again, maybe being adjacent to something that's really special and happens well and successfully, but you're not actually a part of it, so you end up throwing yourself down to the ground, or you're not as successful or popular as maybe it seems you deserve to be because of perceptions about you and the art that you're making. In any case, the Sonics had this fast and groovy, maybe a little bluesy with the piano, but ultimately a like country rock and roll kind of feel. It really had a rural country type of twang to it, but it had some pace and some energy, some cool guitar moments along the way too. So yeah, I enjoy it sonically, and it seemed to be a bit of a hybrid tune, somewhere between the indie rock sound with the jangly style guitars that I've come to know from a lot of their work, but also with a bit of that out in the countryside type of feeling, a bit of that folk rock, but with pace. So yeah, just an interesting tune all around. It felt like a short one, maybe like 2.5 minutes. Just a little over 2, so yeah, definitely a shorter one. Curious to know what people have to say about this. Let me know, and I will see you next time. I do want to mention, maybe this is the last reaction batch where I'm going to have regular reactions until we get through the Christmas period. As I mentioned, about 10 days or so before we get to the Christmas holidays, I'm going to mostly do holiday content, as well as other days where I'm not going to be putting anything out because I'm preparing holiday content and spending time with me and mine, so to speak. So in any case, for those who are waiting on the return of other deep dives, have patience. I will get back to all the various deep dives once we get through the holiday period. In any case, let me know what you think here. I will see you next time. Peace.